It's been a while. But now, it's time for the grand return. And this is it. Anybody disagrees with the fact that I'm back, they can just cut their eye out, feed it to their father, and then we'll start. You can breathe, you can blink, you can cry. I mean, hell, you're all gonna be doing that. Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm here today with a new review, because I'm alive. Okay, I'm gonna stop, because that was not very necessary, but I guess when push comes to shove, you have to be unnecessary, especially when you have a cool bat and a cool new jacket I got for my birthday. Yeah. In December the 8th, 2021, I got a baseball bat with barbed wire, who I now call my beautiful Lucille. She's my bat with barbed wire, and she is awesome. And this leather jacket, so this is rich. So, Lucille, I think I'll just put you to the side right here. Anyway, I do apologise. I'm so sorry. It's been like, what, over a month since my last video? Wow. Time really goes by when you're so busy, aren't you? But again, I do apologise. I guess I've just been busy with school and all that, but honestly, there's no real lie, because there obviously has been a day where I thought of doing a video. There wasn't a day where I didn't think about doing a video, and this is my new video. Now, you may remember that in 2021, there wasn't a lot, like, as big as a COVID hit as 2020. Like, it wasn't that bad as 2020. And you still have some good moments in 2020 where you're free to do some stuff that you like to do. But can I tell you what was one of the main aspects of 2021 that was been there for me, almost like for the entire month? The Walking Dead. Yep, that's right. If you remember, like, for most of 2021 last year, I talked about The Walking Dead, a TV show with great acting, great visuals, great cinematography, horrific scenes, great, memorable moments, sad moments, and it's just an all-around great show, which I think is one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen. Of course, I did a review of the TV show, I did thoughts on the villains, and I talked about each episode of season 11 of The Walking Dead so far, which I will not do later on when part 2 comes out. I'll just talk about some bits of it. But you're also forgetting that in this particular Walking Dead, this is part of the Walking Dead TV television universe. Yeah, that's right, it's like a cinematic shared universe like Marvel, but on TV, and there's 2 spin-off shows, a talk show, an origin show, like little short videos, and an upcoming film franchise starring Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes will be returning. So, I'm going to be talking about the spin-off shows. And like I said, there are 2 of them. And today, I'm here to review the first ever spin-off show to The Walking Dead, titled Fear the Walking Dead. Now, before I begin this review, I do have to let you know that I am going to be talking about a major character that shows up in Season 4. And this character is a character from The Walking Dead. because I really like this character and I want to talk about him. So if you have no idea who this character is, do not watch this video any further if you don't want to be spoiled for Fear the Walking Dead. But I think it's safe to assume that we all know who this character is, at least for Walking Dead fans. And with that said, let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead. So, before I talk about what happens after Season 4, let's talk about how the show is set up. So the premise of Fear the Walking Dead is it takes place at a different location in the Walking Dead universe. It takes place in the same universe as the Walking Dead, but follows new characters. This time, it follows a woman by the name of Madison Clark, who is a female guidance counsellor at a high school, whose son, Nick, is dealing with a little bit of a traumatic break after he encounters a zombified girl. And, as you can tell, this is the start to the zombie apocalypse, literally the day it started. So, Madison, her son Nick, and her daughter Alicia join together with her boyfriend Travis and his family to try to survive the zombie apocalypse. But that's basically the plot from Season 1 to 3. But after Season 4, things take a whole new turn as our characters meet up with the stick man himself from The Walking Dead, Morgan Jones. Yeah, that's right. After the war with the Saviors in Season 8, he then tried to live a lone life by isolating himself from other people, but then he starts meeting these characters of Alicia and Nick and Madison and all that, and so they plan together to form a community, and we should fear them because they are part of The Walking Dead. Now, after finishing all of The Walking Dead, I was immediately interested in what eventually these spin-off shows would do, because then it turns out that they were part of the whole Walking Dead universe, so we're probably going to see new characters and old characters from the main Walking Dead show are going to pop up, so I was very interested to see the show. Well, the first 3 seasons are like a character story, like it follows new characters and their stories before it starts crossing over. But anyway, what are my thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead? Well, I wasn't particularly fond of it before, but I am pretty fond of it now. It is a really awesome, great show. But I do have some major issues with this show that definitely riles it back from the main Walking Dead show. I don't think the show is as good as The Walking Dead. But honestly, I wasn't expecting it to. But I still enjoy the show for what it is. It is an enjoyable show. So what do I like about Fear the Walking Dead exactly? Well, the best thing I can say about this show, and it's the best thing about the whole Walking Dead franchise, are the performances and the characters. The actors and actresses do seem fitting for their roles, and it seems like that they are embracing the dramatic exit, humour, and awesomeness that these characters bring. So let's talk about the characters I like from Seasons 1 to 3, starting off with the main character herself, Madison Clark. I think that this character definitely has a lot of determination and love for her family, because, again, she cares so much about her family that she'll do anything to keep them alive. She's like the Rick Grimes of Fear the Walking Dead, because she has a character flaw, and that character flaw is that she cares about her family so much that she doesn't think about what is important for them, and she tries so hard to protect them and make decisions. But every time she tries, things always go awry, and it definitely shows that she must learn that she shouldn't try so hard to control the situation, and that she needs help. Whether she asks for it or not, she does need help. But honestly, you can't really blame her, because this is a dangerous situation, so you would want to protect your family by any means necessary. So I can definitely relate to her character a lot. Sure, I don't agree with all her methods, but overall, I think that she's a wonderful character who just wants the best for her kids and her boyfriend after her husband passed away and all that, so he definitely feels sympathetic towards her. And Kim Dickens does a fantastic job embracing that role. I definitely cannot wait to see what Kim Dickens has in the future. Wink, wink. You'll have to watch some reports on the show to figure that out. Then we have Travis Manewa. I do hope that's how you pronounce his character's last name. If not, I apologize, Travis. Your name is really hard to say. I think he's a lot more likable than Madison. Sure, Madison is a great character, but I think Travis is a little better than her, because Travis has lots of determination for his son and his ex-wife that he'll go to great cost to try to protect them. But he tries to be like more caring and more like soft towards like other people and survivors, that he does have a big heart and he cares about both of his families, and he cares so much about Daniel and his family and all that. And I think Cliff Curtis does a fantastic job showing all of the determination and solidness of his character, but knows when he has to be tough and angrily emotional when he has to go to sad moments. Especially in the second season. There's a scene in the second season, I won't give it away, but there's a scene in the second season that just, where he goes angrily emotional on these guys, and you're just like, oh, Travis, I feel for you, bro. I feel for you, bro. But I have to say, my favourite character from the first 3 seasons is Nick Clark. Wow. He definitely comes off as the most intimidating and interesting character in the show, because you see the way he looks at characters, the way he acts towards those characters, and how he views the world, that makes him like more tough inside and more emotional inside, but usually results to a straight face to hide the pain and actual feelings. And that's what really makes his character so entertaining and so cool. But at the same time, he is worthy to look out for characters. Sure, he might have disagreements with his sister and his mother, but deep down he cares about them and will do anything to make sure that they're alive. And he does have leadership skills, especially again in the second season. He has a subplot in the second season where he has to lead these people to try to show that the outside world isn't scary and that they can try to be tough together. That's what makes his character so awesome and likeable and determined. And Frank Dillane, or Dylan, I really don't know. I'll put his name right here. He embraces the role to a T. And then we have Daniel Zalazar, who is really a cool character and a likeable character. I mean, not because he has the same name as me, but because he has mixed feelings, and he's definitely one of the most interesting characters from the show, because he definitely has a bit of like doubt in his eyes, because he sees some characters and doesn't trust them exactly, but when he becomes more upbeat and humble towards them, he definitely excels that. But then he goes back to being untrustful, but then goes back to being whimsical. He definitely switches between these two characters very well. And actor and musician Ruben Blades definitely adds to the character's whimsical and humble side, but knows when he has to be angry and tough, when he has to go to dark moments. But if we're going to be talking about one of the most interesting characters in the show, that is hands down Victor Strand. This is such a complex and mixed feeling character, because we really don't know what his ideologies are or what he fights for. Does he fight for himself, or is he fighting for his family and friends? And he really doesn't know who to pick between the two. He either fights for himself, or he fights for his new comrades. He starts off fighting for himself, then fights for his comrades, and fights for himself again, and where the character is standing right now is definitely very complex and very intimidating, making him a very formidable force throughout the show, whether it be for his enemies or for his own comrades, which makes him one of the most complex characters in the entire show. And I am very curious to see where his character will end up in the second part of Season 7. So now that we got the Season 1 to 3 characters out the way that I really want to talk about, that I did like, let's talk about the better characters introduced in Season 4. Well, not all the characters that are introduced in Season 4, because there's one character, well, one or two characters or three characters that were introduced in The Walking Dead, and that main one of course being Morgan. So let's finally talk about this character after I'd never really drawn too much attention to him in the past. Now, Morgan Jones has always been one of the most fascinating Walking Dead characters to me, because you can almost see him as like the main center point of the show's message of humanity. What is humane and thoughtful and more calm and what is more deadly and inhumane and vicious. Because he starts off being affected by the zombie apocalypse after losing his wife and trying to keep his son safe. But after not finding in himself to kill his zombified wife, he ended up losing his son. So he ended up going crazy and never trusting anyone again, only trying to survive by himself to make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else or himself. But then he found humanity again after learning from a master in season 6 of The Walking Dead, which causes him to question killing and trying to make sure that he is different from the other victims that he defeats, to prove that he is not a bad guy. Until the all-out war where he started killing people, loads of saviors, that makes him kind of dangerous to the crowd, as he starts losing his mind and starts hallucinating victims and characters that he ends up fighting with his own friends. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons why he left the group and decided to go on his own in this show, because he thinks that because he killed all these people and couldn't find any humanity, he thinks he should stay away and isolate himself. But after meeting John Dory and Althea and all the other characters that are from season 1 to 3, he starts to find his humanity and collaboration with other characters again, as he tries to find his way of humanity again. And that's what's so fascinating, because he switches between his two ideologies very well, depending on what the situation is in front of him. And it's definitely shown in this show as well, especially from like season 4 to season 5 to season 6, where he at first tries to help people, but then after what happened in season 6, he starts to go back to his all-out war, savior killing flea. And that's what makes his ideologies understandable. But at the same time, you want to see him come out on top and prove that he is not the same as all the other victims. Because really, it's up to him to remind everyone what humanity and collaboration and society is really all about. That we should take care of each other. He may lose his ideologies from time to time, but deep down, we do hope that there's still some humanity left in Morgan Jones. And I would definitely like to see the TV show save me, because I'm definitely starting to like Lenny James, at least in The Walking Dead, so I would love to see more of Lenny James, as he's a British actor, which I actually fell for the same trap I did with Andrew Lincoln, thinking he was American, but then it turned out he was British, and he is mesmerising in the role of Morgan Jones, not only making him come off as a chilled out, layered character, but also a sympathetic beast and individual, and it makes his character so much more interesting, and one of the main reasons why I think that Morgan Jones is one of the best Walking Dead characters of all time. He definitely deserves to be the main character of the show from season 4.